Okay, pile one. We're off to a very powerful start here. So what is the power you don't know you have? You got the King and Apocalypsis. This is a person who is incredibly strong in seeing through deception, seeing through lies, deceit, corruption, and sees the truth of a system or a company or a government, or even on a smaller scale, a family, and who can take down systems that aren't fair, that are lying, that are greedy, that are not delivering what they promise, and build an entirely new system in its place that helps everyone, that is fair to everyone, and that serves everyone, and that doesn't lie or deceive, that has honesty and integrity. This is an incredibly strong start. I'm seeing this as someone who maybe gets a job at a company and then is discovering more and more how wrong the company's policies or the company's promises are, seeing that people are lying, that people are cutting corners, that things aren't exactly what they are being sold to be, and you're not fooled. You have the ability to see every layer of a system or a workplace or a company. This could even be, this is strong like government vibes as well. This could even be someone who sees what's wrong in government on any scale. So like a small town government or a larger national government. This is a person who can't be fooled. You see very clearly what other people don't. Other people get caught up in the smoke and mirrors. They get deceived by the lies. And you just immediately know that what someone is saying isn't true. And it just makes sense in your head. You can see every layer of a system at once. So when one person is saying something that doesn't match the reality of what you've seen in another layer, if the CEO of a company is saying we are completely fair and we do everything right and we don't cut corners, but you know that the product that they're making has this one part that's an extremely cheap material that makes the whole thing dangerous, you're not going to be fooled. And if they get called out on it and they want to lie and try to sell you on something that isn't true, you can see that as well. Apocalypsis is all about lifting the veil of deception. So this could be like whistleblower vibes. You not only can see what people are trying to hide from you and what people are trying to get away with, but you can inform other people of that as well. And this is an energy of someone who is stronger than forces who seemingly have a lot of power. So if you come in as an intern and there is a CEO, but they are greedy, corrupt, and not doing things correctly, it seems like there's a power imbalance, but you're so aware of your strength and your power because you know you're right. You see through them, and you see the true weakness that is behind them and everything that they're doing. You're the king, and it doesn't matter what position you are. You're the king because of this power and of this characteristic that you have. You don't position how much money someone has. It doesn't matter to you because you know they're wrong and you know that you are right. So the power dynamic is more in your favor. So I pulled cards on where this power came from. I got Ace of Wands and Two of Pentacles. Ace of Wands is like a raw soul, and Two of Pentacles is harmonious change. I see this as a soul mission, as not something that you picked up from environment or place, but something that you came in to do. You came in to shake things up. You came in to change systems that don't work. This is part of your soul mission. This is part of your soul purpose. And if this seems really intimidating right now, if this seems like something that you're like, I know I can see these things, but how on earth can I change them? It's okay. It's okay to be on any point or stage. Just follow your natural instincts. Your soul is leading the way. You came in with this power and this ability because you wanted to change systems that do not work. And I pulled more to get more information on this. Two of Wands and Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles is workplace, and Two of Wands is friction and fighting. So I feel like maybe in your earlier life or younger years, or whenever it was you started working, you wanted things a certain way, or you saw things that didn't work or that weren't fair, and you tried to point them out and you were attacked for that. And it was just so confusing. You're like, how could you not want to be the best? How could you be okay with lying, or with giving a subpar product, or with treating your employees badly? How is this okay with you? And I see you just being very confused, and you saying the aggression I'm getting isn't right. This could also be the energy of someone who wants a certain thing and who gets stopped from getting it. So this could be someone you could have, when you started working, wanted to achieve a certain goal, but people stopped you. And you're like, why would you want to stop me? Because I know my goal is for the good of everyone. I don't understand why I would be stopped from improving things. And this was all just to spark you into desiring change and desiring to make things better. The king, a true king, is aware of every single aspect of the kingdom. So not only is he aware of the lives of the people in his castle, but he's aware of the lives of the peasants, but he's also aware of like the soil and what crops they can grow, what sort of animals they have, what commerce. It's aware of every single aspect of an area. And I feel like this is really where you shine. You don't take things in little pieces. You see the whole picture, you see how it all fits together, and you see how one aspect plays into the other aspect. You see how if you treat the ground well and you don't put chemicals in the ground, that the ground can grow crops which will feed the peasants, but then it will also allow there to be food for the rich people and the nobles. Like, you see all the pieces and how they go together, and it's just innate. It's just in you. You just have the ability to see every single piece of the puzzle and know how they all play together. So the next cards are how you tap into this power. The Devil and Fortitude. Make sure they're still in the picture. The Devil is, it can be oppression, limiting thoughts. It's one being who has chains around the other beings. And Fortitude is strength and stubbornness and determination and persistence, and someone who doesn't stop. So this is saying, how do you use this power? You see who is abusing their power and you fight them. And you don't stop. And you believe in yourself, you believe in your strength, you know that you are right, you don't waver, and you just keep going. You take whatever steps you need to take. You are in the fight, even the leader of the fight. You're the one who tells people what's going on. You let people become aware of the chains because they can't see it the way that you can. They don't know that they have chains around their necks. You see it very clearly, they don't. You point it out, you take up the fight. These two cards are all about fighting. You know someone's abusing their power. You know people are being deceived. You know people aren't being treated fairly. And you don't waver in your attempts to stop it. And another aspect of the King and Apocalypsis. Apocalypsis is about lifting veils of deception, but in that, it is also about building an entirely new system. The King can destroy a kingdom and build it in a better way. You take down what doesn't work and you build up what does. So if you use this power, what is the outcome? Princess of Cups and Six of Pentacles. This is really sweet. The Six of Pentacles card in the traditional tarot is someone who has a lot of money giving to someone who doesn't. And Princess of Cups is just a really sweet, romantic, idealistic kind of energy. So this is showing that you build, if you tap into this power and use this power and take up this fight, you can build a system that works for even the most sensitive of person, for someone who doesn't have your power. We live in a world that's very difficult for certain people who are more sensitive, more kind-hearted, and more compassionate. The world is very, very cruel because negative people gain power. And if you rebuild the system, every single layer of person has a better life because it isn't built on cruelty. It's built on fairness. It's built on everyone being okay and not just the people at the top being okay. You can build a system where people don't feel taken advantage of. Six of Pentacles is graciousness and gratitude and fairness. And it's about the person with money is kind because they know that the situations can be reversed very easily. And they might need someone else's kindness. It's about reciprocity. Being generous because you might need generosity later on. You can see what needs to change, and you can change entire systems, whatever area of life this applies to. You can change whole systems to where you can't even imagine how many people are benefiting from this. Not even the people, if you take over a company, not even those people, but their families, and then the whole area you're in, it will just sort of bleed out to the whole entire groups of people, and you will positively affect lives of people that you're not even aware of. So that's all the information I have for you. That was a very strong start. That's an incredible energy. It seems like a big task, but you came in for this. You came in with this power. You came in equipped to break down systems and build them in a better way. Okay, thank you for being here, and I hope I'll see you next time. Thank you. Okay, pile 2. What power do you not know you have? This pile went very differently than I thought these readings would go, but this is such an interesting and beautiful reading, so I'm excited to get into it. The first cards you got are the Seed and the Stone. These cards are telling me that you have not even remotely begun to tap into your potential, to tap into your power. these cards are actually, you see how deeply buried the seed is in that card. And these cards are, this is quite a colorful deck. These are very gray cards, but the stone in the middle is actually very colorful, and it's also encircled in gray. I just get the feeling that you're kind of hiding yourself, that you're sort of protecting yourself and muffling your beauty and your power and who you are. You're kind of in this state of trying to cocoon yourself to protect yourself. I had to pull more cards to really understand this, but the next cards that came out just reiterate the message. This is the Venom and the Flame. The Venom tells me that you're probably not in the best place, like your environment might be very harsh or cruel, and a huge mismatch to who you are, because I don't see that as your energy at all. You're the opposite. I think that you're quite soft and compassionate and kind, and I think you're in a place where that type of an energy isn't very safe, so you're sort of blocking yourself off from it to try to protect yourself. The Flame is the same message. The Flame is like your inner being and your inner truth and soul, and it's just sort of in darkness right now. But the stone, these shapes around the stone is a symbol of alchemy, and the stone itself is about transformation. Stones move and shape and form, and they transform. It's just very slow and gradual. And this is telling me that the power you don't know you have is the power of transformation. I think you are a gentle, incredibly deeply compassionate soul, and I think that you haven't been able to express that or be that, and maybe you've muffled that in yourself. But these cards are telling me that you can become anything you want. You can heal and transform yourself and then get to a much better place where who you are can truly shine through. I'm not telling you to be really vulnerable in a cruel space or around negative people. I don't think you muffling yourself is wrong, but I think that you can do the inner work and the shadow work, and you can learn how to transform your inner being so that you see your strength and your power, and you can get to a completely different type of physical environment where your softness and your gentleness and compassion is truly valued, where you can be who you are without any sort of apology, without hiding, and where people value you for who you are. We have some more cards here. So I pulled, what could you be if you tap into this power? And I got, actually, let me move these. The Castle, Kairos, and the Mother. Let me make sure you can see them all. Yeah. Okay. This pile is really telling me that the journey that you have to go through from this nasty venom environment to a gentle life is your power. The journey itself is your power. Because once you go through this transformation, you are then able to help other people through it. I think the power you don't know you have is that you can transform yourself, transform your life, and then help other people do the same. You can identify, well, let me get into the cards. The castle. The castle is also the fortress. You see this, the block of pearls, the square of pearls, sort of keeping the flower and like the pretty woman safe. Like another name in the book for the castle is the fortress. I think that you have the power to be other people's fortress. When you get to this gentle life, when you are living, I don't know, when you're sort of living, this is giving vibes of someone who ends up like in a beautiful piece of land and a beautiful nature. You have a lovely house, and then people come to you because you will listen to them. You'll be compassionate with them. You understand where they are. I'm not saying this is your story, but this is sort of the vibes that it's giving. Like if you are in an abusive home situation, like your partner is abusive, and then you are able to heal yourself enough to get out of the situation, and you are able to figure out a way to get the money to live in this beautiful, quiet, peaceful home. And then other women or people in general who are in that abusive situation can sort of escape to your beautiful home and feel this peace and get sort of healed and helped by you so that they can move on with their life. And that's a very specific example. It's just an example. Like that's the vibes that it's giving. It could apply in so many different ways and in so many different areas. But the castle is you finding a quiet, beautiful place of safety and security, and then other people can come and get that from you as well. Kairos is a very interesting card to come out next. It is about divine timing, mystic timing. It is about you being at the right place at the right time. It is about synchronicity. It's about things just happening in like almost magical, perfect, universally aligned way. And what I'm getting is that when you have reached sort of the place of peace in your transformation, people will just sort of gravitate to you, and you might be in strange circumstances where you just sort of maybe see someone and know they need your help and say the exact right thing at the right time, and then you guys form a friendship. Like, this is about, you don't have to try to make things happen. You don't have to try to force, like an example I used before, you don't have to like put online, this is a safe place. If you're experiencing something negative, just come here. Like, people will just find you, is what this card is giving. Once you reach your place of peace, things are just sort of going to happen in this magical way, and you're going to help other people. This is what the mother is about as well. Like, you being that mother energy, you being that incredible, like, feminine, whether you're a man or a woman, just feminine, compassionate, loving, accepting, this beautiful, gentle place for people to go and just feel loved so deeply. And it might not even be people. Maybe you're who you want to help is like animals or the earth or something, you know, whatever your mission sort of applies to you. But I feel like your journey from a rough place, a dark place, into the full power of your sensitivity and your gentleness, that journey itself is the power you don't know you have, because you're going to inspire people and you're going to help people make that same journey. You will understand so clearly what sort of souls are like yours. You will understand these gentle people, and you understand what they need, and you understand how to heal them so that they can get out of their cruel situations as well. So these cards reiterate that point. Let me see it. We'll go two at a time. So you have the gem, which looks just like the stone card. It is a beautiful, sparkling gem amongst this darkness and in this empty room. I think you are going to be able to see the gems. You're going to be able to see what is actually soft and delicate and is just in darkness, in a bad place, in a place where they can't shine and show all of their beautiful colors. Thanatos and the Maiden are the last cards that came out for you. Thanatos is the card of death, and death is just another word for transformation. I think that you have the power to create a more gentle world. You have the power to at least create gentle spaces where people can sort of have an escape from the cruelty and darkness of the world. The Maiden is innocence. The Maiden is someone who, even if cruelty is done to them, will not respond with cruelty themselves. The Maiden is an incorruptible energy, and it gets seen as naive and stupid. And I think you have Maiden energy, and I think the people that are going to gravitate to you have Maiden energy as well. And you are someone who has the power to understand that compassion isn't weakness, and that not responding to cruelty with cruelty is an incredible strength. Is someone who refuses to be corrupted no matter what is done to them is an amazingly powerful soul. And I think that the world, and this might be what is being done to you, the world takes people that have Maiden energy and tells them that they need to toughen up, they need to harden, they need to stop being sensitive, stop being emotional, they need to stand up and get aggressive and fight. And there are people that are not meant for that life. And I don't think a lot of people are meant for that. I think we need in society exactly what you're going to offer, which is an appreciation for softness, an appreciation for gentleness, and an understanding that being empathetic and compassionate is an incredible strength, and the world needs so much more of it. People are suffering because things can just be too hard. And I think you innately have the power to understand a soft life and a gentle life where people really can feel comfortable and safe and secure and loved, and you live lives that don't hurt anyone. And I think you have a Maiden soul, and I think you are going to end up helping people who have a similar soul. And you're going to have the ability to form safe places for people who are like you. and all of you can live together in a loving and caring way and show the rest of the world how much better life can be. How you don't need to be fiery and aggressive and fighting people and stomping on them to get ahead. That we can live in a much more compassionate, considerate, cooperative way. That was an unexpected message, but that was such an incredible message. Your power is this maiden soul that you have, and your power is also your journey and your ability to transform and your ability to create gentle places for other people. And you're going to inspire people who are like you. And they'll see you and think, this person can live this life. Maybe I don't have to harden and betray myself and become cruel. Maybe I can live in the way that they do. That was such a great message. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, pile 3. What is the power you don't know you have? Yours is probably the most straightforward and direct of all the groups. You got Shaman and the Ring. The power you don't know you have is the ability to deeply understand and master spiritual concepts so that you can live a full, happy life and even give that information to other people. The Ring is like the oneness, the mystery, the universe. It is the ability to unravel complex spirituality. And the Shaman is all about understanding deeper reasons behind things and being able to explain them to others and to live a life in alignment with spirituality and an understanding of spirituality and physicality and how to merge them. You are someone who should have a spiritual practice, but everything is spiritual. So even if you're very focused on physicality, you understand the spirituality behind it. You understand all the levels of consciousness and all the levels that people live on, and you can sort of merge them together in your head. You can make the pieces fit, and you can understand them in a way that just confounds other people. You can live a very spiritual life in alignment with your highest self and your highest joy. So I asked, where does this power come from? And the answer was so lovely. One is the sun, which is just your joy. The sun is just the happiest, most joyful card in the deck. You understand spirituality because you just love life and live in light and joy. Let me make sure you can see it. Card that came out with it was 7 of Wands clarified by 7 of Pentacles and the Universe. So this shows me that you live in that joy because you came out victorious in a difficult situation. 7 of Pentacles means you really wanted something and you couldn't understand why you couldn't get it. But then Universe is the World card. Things started coming into your head, like you figured it out. You figured out the reason why you weren't getting that thing, and then you got it. 7 of Wands is Lord of Valor. It's the underdog winning the fight. You got some sort of big win, some sort of big manifestation because you took the time to understand what was truly going on at the spiritual universal level. You sort of unlocked a door and got what you wanted, and that led to this incredible, like, sunburst of a life. You just took off in joy, full of life, full of energy, full of vitality, and you know how to get things that you want now. You know how to live a life that is just fun and enjoyable and so deeply fulfilling. I think a lot of people come to spirituality out of just complete misery. Like, their lives are so bad, they don't know what to do, and they struggle with all of this darkness. And you just got the key to unlock full light and sunshine. And you were living happily. And the next cards I pulled were what does you living in this power look like or feel like? And it's Ace of Cups and Wheel of Fortune. Again, it is happiness and victory. Ace of Cups is just someone overflowing with deep sense of fulfillment. There are people who can get millions of dollars and still be miserable. But Ace of Cups is someone who feels emotionally, spiritually, physically, just so deeply fulfilled. Their joy is real. They're not pretending. They're not putting anything on. They're not using their job position or big house to sort of make up for a deep insecurity. They're just genuinely, thoroughly happy. And Wheel of Fortune is someone who gets lucky. You have gotten into a streak, and if you haven't done this yet, this is saying this is your power. This is something that you can tap into and feel. You have the power to unlock alignment with your soul in such a way, you flow with it in such a way that things just happen for you in the best way. This is like someone who is just blessed by the universe. But it isn't really that. You put in the work. You put in the understanding. You unlocked something. And now you just flow with the universe. And this is something that I think you living in this way, in this fulfilling, happy way, is so inspiring to other people. And they look at you and they just see how happy you are and they want to figure it out for themselves. They sort of want what you're having. They want to unlock their own spirituality and energy as well. I see the next cards I pulled were Four of Wands and King of Wands clarified by Seven of Cups. So if you living a happy, joyful life is plenty. Like, that's, I think people just bog themselves down with, oh, I have something nice, so now I have to like help other people. I have to go out of my way and get people and make sure I help them so I can feel better. And don't feel like you really get bogged down by anything. But these cards are saying that you do have the power to sort of allow people to enter your way of living. Four of Wands is typically, it sort of in the traditional deck looks kind of like a house or like a party, a place where people can go and be joyful. So I feel like that's how, if people come into your energy, come into your life, or even are just watching you, they get to experience living from the depths of their soul and living in the way that you do. And that is so, just that alone is so transformational for other people. And what's interesting is that also has King of Wands, which King of Wands can be quite intense. He can be quite like, he's very blunt. He's not like soft and delicate with people. He just kind of says how it is. And Seven of Cups is like delusion. I feel like in spirituality, there just is so much delusion. And one of the things that you're going to do for people is just very bluntly point out where they are deluded. It's kind of a funny message to come through, but whatever it is you unlocked, it's real. And you are not one of these delusional people who is just sort of flowing around sort of mindlessly. Like, you know what you're doing. And when people come to you and they're like, oh yeah, this is, I will just write down that I'll win the lottery and then the next day I'll win it. You're like, absolutely not. That's not how that works. You're very honest and very straightforward about spiritual delusion. And people, I think you live in a true way and you don't have ridiculous expectations. And even if this is the energy of someone that even if they were to fail at something or lose at something, you just kind of shake it off. Some people get devastated and they're like, oh my God, everything I learned is a failure because I didn't get this thing I wanted. But you're like, okay, I'll just understand it deeper and come back and get what I want in another way. I think that's inspiring to people. And I think that helps them understand things a little better. The last cards I have for you is Six of Wands, which is victory, Temperance, clarified by Temperance, and Six of Pentacles. This is interesting to come out. It actually came out like that, which is Temperance is balance, and then balance between Six of Wands and Six of Pentacles. So this is showing me Six of Wands is someone who is like riding their horse through a parade of people praising them. And then Six of Pentacles is someone who has a lot giving to someone who doesn't. And Temperance is balance. So I think that you are going to find in your life the perfect balance of enjoying yourself while still being aware enough of other people. I think part of your power is you're not going to be any kind of a martyr. Like, that's the exact opposite of this energy. But you aren't going to be some egotistical, uncaring person that's like, well, everything I have, I did it, so screw everyone else. They didn't do it. Six of Pentacles is generosity. And I think that you find the perfect mix of generosity and confidence where no one is going to be able to come in and say, you have all this money, you have to give me some because that's just fair. You aren't going to let people take advantage of you. You aren't going to get dragged down by anyone. Your energy doesn't get dragged down by anyone or anything. You have such high energy and you know what works for you and what doesn't. You cut out what doesn't and you keep going along what does. But this is saying you're not a jerk about it. You aren't going to be only concerned with yourself. You have a really good combination of kindness when it's warranted and just unleashing and having the best time and having so much fun when that's warranted too. You enjoy your life, you will help other people, but you're not going to get dragged down by anybody. So this was such a fun pile. This is such like high, happy, incredible energy. And this your power might be unlocking different spiritual truths and different levels of life along the way, but you approach it with an energy of fun. Like, what fun would it be if I figured this out and, I kept leveling up my life? And I think that's incredible. You're just living. You really are just living your best life. You're having an incredible time and you're understanding how to level up every time. So that was so much fun. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And I hope I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, pile 4. What is the power you don't know you have? This is a very interesting pile. This went a place that I sort of didn't expect, but your initial cards are the River and the Warrior. So I sat with this energy for a little while because initially these cards are not very similar at all. This is sort of water and fire energy. The River is about healing and purifying. The Warrior is about fighting and sort of having a cause. But what's interesting is that the thing these two have in common is absolute clarity of the soul and the soul purpose. So the River card is about you maybe have emotional turmoil or just life turmoil, and you go in the river and then you come out the purified version of yourself. The true core of you is able to shine through because the river sort of heals what isn't you, heals all of the gunk that was sort of keeping you from being your truest self. And the Warrior is someone who is so in tune with their truest core that nothing and no one can stop them from being that. They will take up the sword and they will fight if you try to make them compromise who they are. So the power you don't know you have is this incredible ability to so deeply understand the core of who you are and then be absolutely unshakable in that knowing. This is really giving someone who's quite spiritual. So this is someone who is in tune of all the spiritual sort of avenues or things to understand. This is someone who has a deep, deep understanding of their higher self. Their higher self, their soul. You know why you are here. You know what you are doing. And you will not compromise that. You understand yourself. You understand why your soul is here. And this is someone who, if you don't yet, I would suggest developing a very deep relationship with your higher self. And this gets reiterated in the other cards I pulled, just to clarify. This is the Offering and the One. This feels like a person who has sort of turned their being and their life over to their higher self or the universe at large. This is definitely someone with the One. That is everything. That's the universe. That's the core of everythingness, where we all comes from. Everything in existence comes from this one singular point. And you understand that so deeply. You understand spirituality so deep. And you have offered this life and your being to spirituality, to your overall soul mission. Now, all souls decide sort of what they want to explore before they come into humanness. A lot of people lose touch with that, but you are like, I know what I'm here to do, and I'm going to do it. I am going to hold the truth of myself and the truth of my highest self at all times, and I won't compromise that. This is also giving someone who could potentially be like a spiritual leader. maybe even unintentionally. I don't think you care whether people are following you or listening to you or not, because the important thing to you is that you are living in the truth, that you are living in your knowing of who you are and how you are meant to show up in the world. But I do think that there are people who might be really inspired by that and who might really deeply agree with you and listen to you, because you really seem like someone who puts the work in. This is the energy of someone who like goes to, you know, a river or a mountaintop and will really take the time to sit there and meditate and get in touch and in tune and in alignment and really have incredible clarity. Like, the power you don't know you have is this incredible sense of clarity. You are not lost. You are not confused. It is, I am this person. I am on this mission, so I am doing it. The next cards that came out were very interesting. This is the Fault Line and the Destroyer. This makes me feel like at some point in your life, and maybe you've even already lived it, there might be a very difficult moment, some sort of moment where it's going to be difficult to stay true to who you are, but you're going to be able to do it. This is some sort of like difficulty, some sort of battle. And honestly, this is also giving me like, these two cards is where I started feeling the vibes of someone who has figured something out, whether it's on a smaller scale, like with your country's government or like the world government or how the world runs. You have seen through the illusion. You aren't fooled and you can't be tricked, because your truth, like truth itself, sort of is a superpower for you. And this gets reiterated in the next cards I pulled. I'll keep going on this point, but the Hanged Man, the Chariot, Five of Wands, and Ace of Cups. Make sure you can see them. Okay. These are the cards of someone who, Hanged Man is someone who's just kind of, I'm getting the feeling that in this pull, it's someone's kind of confused. Maybe you were looking around at society or getting dragged down. You know, if people constantly watch the news and they're getting inundated with all of this fear and fighting and this group is evil, that person is evil, I see you at one point in your life being kind of caught up in that, or not even caught up, just kind of staring, confused. Like it wasn't sitting right with you. You're like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't really feel like all these things I've been told are right and correct. Like, I feel like the life I'm in, and this doesn't have to be the news or society, this could even be like your family. This is giving the vibes of someone who just wasn't really understanding the life around them. So this goes back to that first card, the River card, where it is about taking yourself and putting yourself in the river so the river can wash away everything that isn't you. And the Chariot is the card that comes out next, and it's called Triumph of Light, which is what the card says at the bottom. I think that you took all of this uncomfortable, not understanding energy and you washed it all away, and now you have a clarity, and now you realize that what you didn't understand about your family or society, you didn't understand it because it doesn't make sense. Like, there's so much like shallow fear, and now you see through it. You see through all of it. You have this clarity. This is so incredibly powerful. Like, You can't be fooled. You can't be tricked. You are not buying into the illusion. You are not someone who is going to get caught up in stupid systems that want you to be powerless and afraid and fighting other people. The next card is Five of Wands, which is the card of fighting. This is a card of 5 people holding their wands, just battling it out. And I feel like you can look around in the world and see where there are people just pointlessly fighting each other. And you now just completely refuse that energy. Or if you don't feel this now, if you're maybe still in a confused state or not understanding state, like, it's okay. I could be talking about any point on your journey. If you haven't done this yet, I feel like it is a power that you can harness and use. But you see all this fighting, and then the next card is Ace of Cups. You say, absolutely not. You people are trying to hand you battles and fear and fighting and hatred and separation between groups of people, and you are like, I am now in an energy where I see through you, I understand the truth, and I'm holding it, and you can't pull me down. Ace of Cups is someone who exists in a deep sense of fulfillment, a deep sense of happiness on every level. Like, you are so in tune with your soul and with your highest self and with higher truths. Like, I would say your sort of power words are clarity and truth. You're so in touch, you're so in alignment, and you are so in tune that you hold that energy, and it doesn't matter if you're in the center of all of these Five of Wands. They're all fighting. You could be in the center and you are in your peace. It is so very tempting to look at the state of the world and want to hide away. But your power is that you don't have to hide away to hold the truth of yourself. You are this Chariot energy and this Ace of Cups energy, and you can hold it even if the battle is happening right next to you, because you can see all sides of the battle. You can see the corruption that led to the fight. You can see the hatred that they're holding. You can see the fear, and it just can't have you because you're just so far above it. I just got the idea of an eagle. I don't know. An eagle is an animal that it doesn't have to fight because it can fly so much higher than the other birds, and it just goes up higher than the other birds can fly, and then nothing can really get it or hurt it. And that's sort of the energy that I'm seeing for you, is being up high. And I think your mind is very powerful, and your mind is very in touch and in tune with the higher self. I actually think you have the ability to stay connected to it and in tune with it at all times. Like, even in the beginning, if you have to meditate to be able to really be in touch with your higher self. And the higher self is a difficult one. It's crown chakra energy, and it's a difficult one to get in touch with. It can be easier to use the third eye and talk to spirit guides and get their perspective. But I just see you going. I just see like this white light coming out of the top of your head and just being connected to this white light that is your higher self, and they're just feeding into each other all the time. It's very, very powerful. You're a very powerful being. The last cards that I have for you, the Hierophant, King of Cups, Eight of Wands, and Two of Pentacles. The Hierophant is an extremely spiritually powerful person. This is like one of the ultimate, this is the male high priestess. This is someone who's like, I am powerful because I am so in tune with spirituality and I understand it so much. And I hadn't noticed it before, but this Hierophant, like, he's got his fingers, like 2 fingers, like pointing almost towards his eyes. And you know how people do it where they point their fingers to their eyes and then at the other person, is like this, I see you. I see you. That was coming through really strongly. You see it now. Like, your power is this clarity. You just see everything for exactly what it is on every level. I think even on like a world scale, you just see so clearly what's going on behind the veil. You see what's actually happening and you just understand it. King of Cups is very powerful in this sort of emotionality and again, sort of spiritual way. It's someone who has compassion. I think that as you go along in your journey, I think at first you are very focused on self, which is perfectly fine. It's how you get the connection with your higher self. And I think that there might be some loner. You might have a while where you're kind of a loner. You know, you have your connection, you have this incredibly powerful mind, you're getting this clarity, and you're finding your truth and the truth of the world and everyone around you. And that's rough. So I think that you might be on your own with that for a bit. But once you come to this hierophant level of like spiritual mastery, King of Cups is telling me that maybe other people will be coming to you and that people will sort of see you as this wise leader, and you'll be able to give them sort of compassionate energy. And I think that that's what was missing in your loner time. I don't think you're in this deep emotional, compassionate, like truth, clarity, and mind are what you're working with. And those are all very like air energy. Like, you're not walking around in this emotion. You've like shed the emotion, all this fear from life, and you're existing in just a truth. But then once you're settled into it, you develop a more compassionate side, and I think other people can come to you as sort of a spiritual, just sort of truth teller. You can help them get in touch with the truth. You can help them see the truth, find their own clarity. And with Eight of Wands and Two of Pentacles, if you want, you have the power to really shake things up. These are cards of intense change. Eight of Wands is very fast, quick, rapid change. And then Two of Pentacles is harmonious change. So you have the power to bring about changes that you see necessary, and you can do this on any scale that you want, whether this is just individuals coming to you and you help sort of open their eyes and change their life and their way of being, or if you want to like get involved with community or society at any level and change systems that don't work. You really have a lot of power here in your knowing and in your ability to see and discern truth and to have clarity and to see what's actually happening. But these cards, these three cards are getting like a later kind of energy. Your first step is to really shed the things you've been told and shed things that you've been told you're supposed to feel and come into that connection with your higher self and come into the truth and come into that being who you are at your core level. I think that comes first. And then as you evolve and change, it can go into becoming sort of a change maker and a truth seer. But I feel like you'll spend quite a bit of time just sort of figuring out your own energy and figuring out your own truths. So you're an incredibly powerful person. You have an incredibly in tune mind. Not everyone can see what you can see. Not everyone can tap into the things you can tap into. That's a very cool thing. This was such an interesting reading. And thank you for being here. That's all I have, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Thank you.